Pretty overcast. Colorado evening where autumn has kind of settled into lower downtown Denver. The Rockies open up a 3-game set against the San Diego Padres. Colorado coming off taking 2 of 3 from the Giants. And we've moved out of the booth, but not far out of the booth. We're in the Press Club, which is a great dining facility, which is right next to the writers. Adjacent to where we spend a lot of time. So we're right behind home plate. It's good to be up here with my partner, George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. And as we welcome you, we bring good news. In the last 24 hours, the Rockies have re-signed Jorge De La Rosa to a 2-year deal, George, worth $25 million reportedly. And this is a guy at home who's 30 games over 500 at Coors Field, which is ridiculous.
Well, he's soon to become the winningest pitcher in Rockies history. He loves pitching in this ballpark. He's very comfortable. He owns a home in Phoenix. Spring training's in Phoenix. He's pitched well here. Why not want to come back here versus going out and having the tension, the pressure of becoming a free agent? You know, and you start talking, you start listening. I think this is a great move by ownership to be able to get him signed before the end of the season. He goes in with a clear mind. They go with a very clear mind, knowing that they've got the guy that's been leading this horse carriage for a long, long time.
And we talked to Walt earlier about this, the fact that he can carry the torch and teach young pitchers, don't be afraid of pitching at Coors Field. You can win here. You can dominate here, as he's done. We also talked to Bill Guyvette, Director of Major League Operations, about the new deal.
Both sides really wanted him pitching here. So for Jorge, he's always made it known that he loves pitching here and loves being part of the Rockies organization. I think definitely from Dick's end, he saw that as, you know, he always wants George to be here, and Dan and Paul Cohen worked out a deal that was good for both sides, and here we go. It's great to have George back.
So Jorge De La Rosa will head up the Rockies rotation for the next couple of years. We'll talk about another member of that rotation that has been doing great things, Tyler Matzik, when we come back to Coors Field. Rockies getting ready to take on the Padres. This is the view from the press club, right next to Writers Row here at Coors Field. And again, welcome upstairs to the press club. We're broadcasting from the press club tonight with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Well, Tyler Matzek takes the baseball, and over his last couple of starts, he's been not just good, he's been dominant.
He has been dominant, and I think the key for me is him becoming a professional, meaning that all the work you do in between is as meaningful as what you do the day you pitch. And it took a while for that to happen, and I think he's realized that coming into this year, and then it's just carried over to the big leagues. It's a joy to sit and watch this young man throw the baseball now. Very good command, which he started to utilize. Good command of the slider and getting a lot of swing and misses. A lot of silly swings and misses on that slider. And he's cut down on walks. He's keeping the ball in the ballpark. And to go 11 out of 15 starts, he's worked into the 6th inning. That's an important issue when you start talking about a bullpen at Coors Field.
He's been very, very consistent start to start. Even if the stuff's off a little bit, the focus is there, the poise is there, and he's really impressed his manager. We'll have more on Tyler Matzek as the evening unfolds. We are ready for baseball. It's the Rockies and Padres. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Inova Cancer Care, taking a novel approach to cancer care. Learn more about prostate cancer treatment at InovaCC.com. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Kind of chilly night. It's been sprinkling on and off. Here's a look at the gorgeous press club, which debuted last year, wasn't it, George? It was 2 years. Time's flying. Is it 2 years now?
No, this second year it's been in operation, and it is beautiful. Man, oh man, is it a great place to come watch a baseball game.
And not only that, you will eat very, very well, and you'll have a spectacular
How well do you get
view.
to eat? How well do you get to eat?
You eat very well. Let me repeat that. You eat very well. Yes. And you'll have a spectacular view of the ballpark, very similar to the one that we have from where we normally are situated, which is one level above this, and that's a view. And Dinger may come in and
Dinger,
visit.
stop by.
Dinger's got, there he is. Let me get a little high five from Dinger. We're ready to go.
We are ready to go. We can do the telecast. Oh, go ahead. If you want to.
That look. The last time you did that, I lost all my hair. So the Rockies had yesterday off after taking 2 of 3 from the Giants. The Padres were busy yesterday, though an unsuccessful day for them. They lost 5-1 at home to Arizona. They did have a very solid home stand, though. They won 6 out of 10 ball games, including taking 2 of 3 from both Milwaukee and the Los Angeles Dodgers. They split a 4-game set with the Diamondbacks. Tyler Matzik ready to go as the Padres got in late last night around 2 in the morning. They played a home game that started a little after 6. Bud Black getting his guys ready. So Matzik, as he warms up, let's take a look at his numbers. They're brought to you each night by Inova Cancer Care, non-surgical treatment of prostate cancer. Visit InovaCC.com.
Matzik, you mentioned, Drew, last 3 starts, 2-1, an earned run average of just 2.18. The opposition has hit just 230 against him. He's been able to handle the left-handers in the lineup. They've hit just 184 against him. National League starts by a rookie. Tyler's right there. He's at number 3, tied number 3 with Buchanan at 16, making his 16th start tonight. And mentioned earlier that he's worked 6 innings in 11 of 15 starts so far. That has to be impressive. You also see that the home runs, not many. The innings pitched. It'll be an interesting matchup for him tonight against the Padres, a very young, very good team.
Well, they've been scrappy and they've been very solid in the second half. Abraham Almonte will lead things off, and he's done a nice job. He's hitting .274. He actually owns a home run against Tyler Matzik. Let's take a look at the rest of the Southwest batting order for the veteran skipper Bud Black. Alexi Amaristol bats second. Jan Hervis Solarte will be in the 3-hole. Rene Rivera has been impressive. He'll bat cleanup. And then it's Jed Jerko. Tommy Medica's at first. Cameron Maben, coming off a 50-game suspension, is in center field batting 7th. Reimer Liriano, another young player. He'll be in right field. And the veteran left-hander, the 34-year-old Eric Stoltz, on the mound. So we're ready for baseball. And Tyler Matzik's first pitch is high and away, ball 1, as Abraham Almonte clearly looking at the first pitch, so it's 1-0.
And this Bud Black team at 25-19, we talked about it a couple of days ago, where that is the 2nd best record in baseball since the break. At 25-19, you say, well, why? Well, they're scoring a few more runs now. They're starting to swing the bat better, and the pitching's always been there.
Yeah, they're always in games because they pitch, and clearly half of their games you know they're going to be in because it's so hard to score at Petco Park. But it's carried over out onto the road, and Bud Black was talking about that earlier this afternoon, that they play so many tight ball games, it gives themselves an opportunity to win. And so even though their offense hasn't done a whole lot, it's been, as George mentioned, a little bit better in the second half. Heck, in the first half, George, they averaged 2.9 runs a game. You're not going to win many. I don't care how good your pitching is. It's hard to win if you only scored 2.9.
Well, I want to know a team ERA that's 1.9 something. It doesn't happen, you know. And then all of a sudden they started to swing the bats. They're 7 games under 500. Pesky type hitters. And you got some guys that can leave the yard. They're an entertaining team to watch just because of their pitching. Nick Vincent out of the bullpen, 19+ innings of scoreless baseball. Very good closer in Ben Wong.
Another 2-2 on Almonte, and that fastball away, and it's 3-2. You can see Matzik blowing on his hands, and that's been okayed by the umpire crew. Adam Hamari's behind home plate. It's 60 degrees, and this is in the air to right center field. Drew Stubbs will wander over and make the catch in front of Charlie Blackmon. 1 out. Well, let's take a look at the Rockies defense, brought to you by Excel Energy. It's Dickerson, Stubbs, and Blackmon in the outfield. Arenado, Rutledge, LeMahieu, Morneau in the infield, with Michael McHenry doing the catching. And then again, it's brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more.
Early fastball velocity, 90 to 93 for Matzik.
And that was right as you described it, 93.
This is where he's had success, working ahead of the left-handed hitters, then going to the slider.
Marista hitting .340 over his last 14. He's a good scrappy little player that's versatile, George, because he can play the infield, he can play the outfield.
He can play. Well, that's the key to it. And it's not just in the infield. It's everywhere in the infield, except maybe first base. But he can play all three outfield positions. A very good guy to have on your ball club.
Career .346 hitter here at Coors Field. And that's back redirected to second, and the Rockies will get the out. So it went off of Matzik, and he scored 1-4-3, 2 outs, nobody on.
Let's take one more look at it. It's going to be a fastball away. It looked like it caught the bottom of Tyler's glove, redirected over to LeMahieu, and the out recorded. To see if it got any part of his body. Well, it might have got a little bit of the pant leg, but more of the glove than anything else. Nonetheless, it's an out. You move on.
So here's Yangervis Solarte, and he grounds to second. And you can't have a much better start than that. Little fly ball, a couple of weak ground balls, and that's all for the Padres against Mr. Matzik in the first inning. We'll see the Rockies on offense next.
The press club, that's behind home plate. I'm opposite in center field as we have another Fan Friday coming your way. I just tweeted this, including tonight, 4 of them to go. Face it, it's damp out, a little chilly. You're indoors, you're watching the Rocks. So tweet us some questions about MLB and about the ball club, and we'll answer them here. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk at @RootSports_RM, or maybe have some questions about the press club. We'll do that as the game continues tonight. So here we go, bottom one, guys.
Mark, thank you. We'll look forward to that. Here's Charlie Blackmon. We look forward to his ABs. He's had a terrific season. 284, All-Star this summer. Got 23 stolen bases. Outside chance of maybe stealing 30. That'd be awesome. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for Walt Weiss. Drew Stubbs will bat second. Leading the league, Justin Morneau at 312. Nolan Arenado. Corey Dickerson at 311. Then Michael McHenry. He had a home run the other day as well. Of course, Corey hit 2 on Wednesday. Rutledge, LeMahieu, and Matzik 7, 8, and 9.
Stoltz has the lowest run support in the National League. What do you think? As soon as he saw the 1-2-3 inning, you think he said, "Uh-oh, here we go again"?
He's used to it.
Yeah.
They've scored 48 runs in his 27 games.
They average a little under 3 runs per start. Tough for anybody to win ball games. Matter of fact, 6-15 record, second worst record.
2-0 pitch is popped up, and the first baseman Tommy Medica makes the catch, 1 out. Let's take a look at some more numbers on a guy that was briefly a Rocky, Eric Stoltz. Brought to you by Inova Cancer Care, non-surgical treatment of prostate cancer. Visit InovaCC.com.
Making his 100th career start. He's pitched in 122 career games. He's 33-40 with an earned run average right at 4 as a starter. Guy that that's the one thing. You know, you look at 6-15, you look at the ERA at 4.56. He's pitched better than his record. just as mentioned a minute ago, not a lot of run support to help you get through those ball games.
Ball and a strike on Drew Stubbs.
Drew, how about this? We talked about his run support, and this will probably be the last discussion on it. In 27 starts, he's either had 0 or one run scored for him in 14 of those 27.
That's absurd.
Tough to pitch, isn't it?
Wow.
Think about it.
It's tough to win.
Well, but you go out every day going, okay, I'm going to get less than 1 this time. This ought to be fun. You know, I mean, it just makes it really hard. Just stay positive, keep going. And one thing I've always said, and I've said it to you before too about broadcasting, hey, it beats pitching it for the Toledo Mud Hens getting 27 starts with 14 starts with only 1 run.
That would be the truth. This ball's well hit to right field, and it is gone. Into the Rockies bullpen, Drew Stubbs with his 14th of the year.
And for Eric Stoltz, he has given up 24 now. That's the 3rd most home runs allowed in the National League. Estrada 29, Herron 25, and now Stoltz with 24. All with Drew Stubbs swinging the bat. Well, early high fives here at Coors Field against the Padres. All provided by Drew Stubbs with his swing of the bat on a fastball up and away, driven to right field. Continued to carry. There is wind here at Coors Field today. It carried into the Rockies bullpen for a 1-0 lead.
Think about this with Stubbs. That's his 347th at bat. He's like a 3.5 in terms of the rotation in the outfield. I mean, he plays a lot. I don't want to fully call him a 4th outfielder, especially with Cargo and Kadire being down so much. But he doesn't start 7 days a week, and yet he's got 14 home runs. He's double digits in stolen bases. Morneau rolls at the second, and he's thrown out by Jerko. 2 outs. Pretty impressive.
Well, the other side of that is, Drew, I always look at it in multiples. So let's say you got 550 at bats and played every day. Does that mean 28 home runs and 80 RBIs and hit 300? You would take that, obviously. You're going to take exactly what he's giving you, too, with the amount of playing time that he's getting involved. And not only has it been the power of the RBI, 17 stolen bases to go with that.
Right. So you have most of September left. It's not unreasonable to think he's going to hit, somewhere around 16 home runs, and he's going to steal 22, 23 bases. For a guy that does not play every day, what a useful individual he is.
Well, and I think the big thing about Stubbs, quite honestly, is what was the one thing he always had. Let's see if the wind's going to bring this back in. It won't. What was the one thing he could do? He could run and he could hit for power. But the average was never there. And I think now, being in Colorado, he's forgot about the power side of things and became more of a line drive hitter, and it's reflective of his average, which is up to 292 prior to that home run. It's at 294 now. But I mean, it's becoming more of a complete hitter behind the plate, or at the plate, I should say.
On the ground, deep to short. Amarista, high throw, and on the bag in front of the throw. Running hard the whole way was Nolan Arenado. It'll be an error on Amarista, and the Rockies still alive in the 1st inning. It'll allow Corey Dickerson to hit, which is always a good thing.
Just the 7th error committed by Amarista. The stretch high in the air. Unable to come down with it. Medica with the ball, and then all of a sudden you have Arenado because of the hustle up the line. And I'm going to say this real quick before I show you their defense. That the fact that, remember, Arenado got pulled for not running hard up the line earlier in the year by Walt. It hadn't been the case since that day.
So Nolan at first for Corey. Facing Eric Stoltz. And the slider's a little low, ball 1. Here's the Padres defensive alignment, brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. Mavens in center, Almonte in left, Liriano is in right, Solarte, Amarista, Jerko, and Medica, along with a really good receiver, Rene Rivera. And a big swing, no baseball. It's 1-1 on Dickerson. Corey's 2 home runs on Wednesday came on a curveball and a changeup.
Staying back on the baseball, seeing the baseball. One is in the upper deck above the Rockies bullpen. In that second deck, I should say. Still a long ways. He could have possibly had 4 home runs. 2 balls were caught right at the wall. What a day that would have. It was a great day anyway, but man, what a day.
He's opened eyes. Bud Black was asked by a reporter, not a Denver reporter, about Corey Dickerson before the game, and that's the second time in as many series that a question about Dickerson has come up to the opposition manager. That's truly when you're starting to get a reputation.
Well, it's amazing how many scouts are here now working on the pro side of things and seeing everything. And they go, hey, we'd take that Dickerson guy. Yeah, I bet you would.
Sure.
You know, I bet you would take him.
Who would?
But you're not getting him.
2-2, and this is on the ground at third. And just in time, Jerko arriving in front of the slide of Nolan Arenado. Nice start for the Rockies to get the long ball from Drew Stubbs. His 14th of the year. And it's Colorado 1 and San Diego nothing as we're off to the second at Coors Field. First inning. We asked Walt prior to the ball game what has impressed him the most about Tyler Matzik over the last couple of months.
His maturity and his poise for me is what stood out. You know, all the guys that get here have ability. So I knew he had a good arm and I knew he had a good slider, but that only goes so far in this league. I mean, his ability to understand how to attack a hitter and how to put sequences together and to pitch with traffic. He's beyond his years when it comes to those things.
You know, Walt, high praise of Tyler Matzik. This ball by Rivera is in the air to Drew in center, and Stubbs will have it for the first out. And I think if you're saying this about a 23-year-old, a young player, and the first couple of words out of your manager's mouth have to do with poise, that's really, I think, a strong indication that you have what it takes to deal with the adversity that comes with playing at this level.
Well, not just so much this, though, being a #1 draft pick, getting $3.9 million. Everybody expecting you to be Clayton Kershaw within 2 years and be here at 20 and winning all the ball games. I mean, the adversity of having to deal with your father having cancer and being cured. I mean, there was a lot of things that this young man dealt with for a long time. And, you know, the thing is, he signed in '09. He's been doing this 5 years now. And it just took some time to become a good teammate, to become a professional, to do the job the way you're supposed to do it. and he's doing that.
I think sometimes we lose sight of this, and you know this exceptionally well, George, because you lived it. You were a young player coming out of Oklahoma, and you got to the big leagues fairly quickly, and then you were, you know, for a little while on that bus going back and forth. And it's not just growing up and learning to try to master your craft in the best league in the world. You're also growing up as a young person. Well,
and you're dealing with a lot of money. You're dealing, even though he signed for a lot of money, you know, that money's either been invested or long gone or wherever it is. And you know, hope that ball hooks foul. Doesn't look like it's going to it. It won't. Yeah, it did. Good. I was pulling on it. I was pulling hard.
Give you all the credit.
Thank you. And I think, you know, you get to the big league level, and it's not like the minor leagues where you're kind of everybody hanging together. Everybody kind of goes separate ways. You're dealing with guys that are in their, you know, late 20s, early 30s. They have families. They have wives. You're not rooming in an apartment with people. Just takes a lot of maturity at this level. Foul by a couple of feet, moving forward with Tyler Matzik, and he's got 2 quick outs, and he's ahead 0-2.
His last start was a beauty against Arizona. 7 shutout innings, allowed just 3 hits. Here's the 0-2 on Tommy Medica. 95 he dialed up there, and it's hit late and foul. High fastball is fouled straight back.
Drew, we move out of the booth, and what happens? The ball almost goes in the booth. And all these people in front of us are looking like, you think we'll get a ball tonight? There's a pretty good chance you're going to.
I want to thank Michael Ponarelli, who just walked off. Can't hear me.
Look at that. I could have caught that.
Oh, that's a nice pickup by Arenado. Yeah, I've been looking. I've been watching him a little bit. He's pretty good with the glove.
He's not bad.
He's not bad.
Pretty good arm to go with it, too.
Yeah. Michael Ponarelli, thank you very much. We affectionately call him Tiny. He's been in the clubhouse since he was 8 years old. No, that's a lie. Been in the clubhouse for many years.
No, that's not a lie.
Well, it's pretty close.
Schultze babysitting.
Yeah, he just brought us up jackets because it's a little chilly tonight. Rockies off to a good start. Middle of 2, up 1-0. Home run in the first inning. Rockies lead at 1-0. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Mark Stout. We'll visit with Mark here in a moment. Mike McHenry leading off in the second against Eric Stoltz. 6 and 15. The only pitcher with more losses this year is a guy who's pitched for a couple different teams. That's Kevin Correa. But it's really not necessarily indicative of how he's pitched. His ERA's okay at 4.56.
Well, yeah, it should be.
He just has not gotten, as we discussed in the first inning, much run support. And that's lashed to left for a base hit from Michael McHenry. And let's check in with Mark Stout now. Mark.
All right, guys, another Fan Friday. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk, @sports_RM. I tweeted this one for you, George. Did you have any fantasy guys going last night? Packers-Seahawks game?
Mark, what kind? Let me jump in here.
Actually, I did.
He doesn't know what fantasy
put that back
football
up again. I got to
is.
see what. Actually, I did. I did have one.
Okay, name you who
Russell
you
Wilson.
Oh, nice.
I do good.
You did well.
I know how to pick my team.
He was good. But you should
I know how to pick my team. Who'd you have?
I had Marshawn Lynch going.
See,
This ball is crushed by Rutledge to deep right center field, and Maben is going to make the catch in the middle of the warning track.
So you didn't think I would have anybody, did you?
Well,
you really? Tell the truth.
I was worried.
How many plates of food are you going to eat? That's your fourth one. That's your fourth one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
He wants your hot dog. I'm sorry. Hey, do you know what? I was worried that you would not be able to name a player on either team.
Why would you say that?
Because unless they're a Sooner, you're oblivious.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Russell Wilson was great. 2 touchdowns. He threw for 191 yards last night.
Dougie handed you stats.
Did you tell me a stat?
Good.
Doug, tell the truth.
He was really
show
good.
Dougie on camera. Show him right now. Doug, did you give me any stats? Not this time. See, there you go.
Yeah.
True statement.
You're gonna have to take a polygraph after the show.
Was he 15 for 19 or something like that with 191 yards?
This is up the elevator shaft. Rivera is going to be called off. And Tommy Medica makes the catch. 2 gone. McHenry still at first.
Yeah, see, I watch a little football.
Their defense was.
What'd you think of Randall Cobb last night, George? You don't have him. He's a pretty versatile player.
Who?
Randall Cobb.
Who?
Packers.
That's a pitcher for the. That's a pitcher for Tampa.
He was thinking you were talking about Tex Cobb, the old boxer.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
If you guys only knew what I had to go through last night when I got home at the hotel, it was great. The ghosts were alive and well last night.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, they were. They were alive and well. I went through 2 TVs.
You went through 2 TVs.
They kept coming off and on, wouldn't stay on.
So they delivered your second TV?
Yeah, and it wouldn't work either. They worked for like 5 minutes and it'd go away again. It was great.
You had an interesting night.
Yeah, and then
you have more interesting nights than anybody I know.
Here's the best one. So I change rooms, right? And I move all my stuff over in a suitcase into the one room. I go back to get my hang-ups, right? All I did was shut the door.
Yeah.
And I go back, and you know that little thing where you don't want you fold over, nobody can get in your room? It's folded over.
Ghost. Had to be.
Ghost, I'm telling you. I loved it. So they got to watch it a little History Channel last night, a little Discovery Channel, and we all went to bed. It was a good night's rest.
You remember from many years ago the show The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. This is The Ghost and Mr. Frazier.
Exactly. Are you happy now? You got your coat wrapped around your legs. You got coffee. Are you happy?
I'm thrilled. We're here.
Drew's like the 8-year-old kid you take to a game with you to football.
Toasty warm now.
Got to get him all these goodies before he's ready to go.
I said to my wife today, as Blackman takes pitch out of the zone, it's 3-2, that Blackman, or I said Blackman, Tyler Matzik takes strike 3. I said, man, turn to September, autumn has hit quickly. 1-0 Rockies. Most of the clouds have cleared out, at least the threatening ones, we believe. Tyler Matzik is ready to go to the bottom third of the order in the third inning. Let's check the big hits presented by Mako, the company that repairs all kinds of hits. Wednesday we were not on television, but here are the highlights. Nolan Arenado with another home run. He was not alone. Not one, but two from Corey Dickerson, his 21st and 22nd of the year. That was a monster shot. Also, Mike McHenry would hit a home run for the Rockies. Check out your local Mako for collision repairs and auto painting for as low as $449. Visit Mako.com today. Cameron Maybin's going to lead things off here in the third inning. And the fastball's inside, ball one on Maybin. Two and 0 from Tyler. This is out of play.
Well, you know, you talked about and Tyler's on the mound right now, and I'm going to bring this up real quick. You talked about the draft and what goes on in it. Think about this. In the first or supplemental round in the 09 draft, these pitchers have not made it. Some are out of the game, some are hurt. Hopgood has not made it. Matthew Perk has not made it to the big league level yet and is injured at this time. Chad James released by Miami. There's an Oklahoma kid out of Yukon, now pitching independent ball. Eric Arnett not made it. Aaron Miller, Matt Bashore, Kyle Heckathorn, and Tyler Kellner has not made it. So you know, there's you start to look back and think it's magic to draft in the first round or the supplemental round, and you're going to end up with a big leaguer. It doesn't always happen.
No, it doesn't. It's amazing how frequently guys don't make it who are drafted even really high. Here's a recap from Wednesday. The Rockies were down early, but they exploded in the middle innings for 8 runs. They win it 9-2, 4 home runs, most since a game against the Padres in July when they hit 5. And Christian Bergman had a solid outing. That is a base hit. And the first base runner, Reimer Liriano, with 1 out in the third inning. In front of an Eric Stoltz at bat. Stoltz would be trying to get down the sac bunt. That's called foul. That's one of those ones that catchers love because you have a legitimate chance to turn that into a double play.
Jump out, snap, pick up, and make the throw.
Safe Light Auto Glass, the good folks to go see if you have windshield damage. Call 303-287-5000 online at safelight.com to make an appointment.
Stoltz not a great hitter, but he can swing the bat. An average of 103 on the season. He has 1 RBI. So you got to be aware of the fact that they can put on the slug bunt. They can do different things on a 1-1 count other than a straight sacrifice with 1 out.
Corner 1-2. But when pitchers look out there, okay, I hope I get that pitch next inning.
You have that conversation. You look back and say, you know, I thought I hit that spot pretty good. I mean, what happened on when I hit it a minute ago when Dickerson was up on the first pitch? Umpire looks like that's 8 hitters ago. You remember that? I don't. Doug, the coffee is hot. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Took the bat back and took a full swing. So that foul ball does not produce an out. A bunt obviously would. 1-2. Padres embarking on a 9-game, 10-day road trip with this game tonight. Strike 3 on the corner. Second punch out. And there are 2 outs in the 3rd inning, and it'll bring up Abraham Almonte. Now it's a good time for you to tweet us your Rockies fan photos. Use the hashtag COFanPhoto for an opportunity to have it seen during an upcoming game. Brought to you by AT&T. Almonte hit a fly ball to center field his first time up. And Abraham fouls off this pitch. Reimer Liriano's at first. He had a 1-out single. First base runner for the Padres tonight. Last time we saw the Padres, we saw Chris Nelson. He actually swung the bat well against the Rockies, but he was recently designated
to make room for a lot of these younger guys they want to look at. And if you looked at their lineup sheet today, it was pretty amazing how many players they've added into their bullpen, how many of the guys they have there on the bench now for Bud Black. They had one left-hander for the majority of the year, and they've added Erlin, they've added Garces, 2 lefties down in their bullpen.
Yeah, they
or
won't
the right-hander. They've added some of their top prospects.
They won't run out of pitching. Matzik ends up striking out the side as he gets Almonte. He's through the 3rd. The Rockies leading 1-0 on the strength of a Drew Stubbs home run. The top of the order when we return to 20th. Well, tonight we're in Sports Column watching the Rockies game on Root Sports. Well, we're not, but they are. And that's brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And just a couple minutes away, Charlie Blackmon takes a slow curveball, 67 miles an hour for strike 1. Charlie, Drew Stubbs, and then Justin Morneau. Charlie Blackmon popped out his first time up. And this one is fouled off. Ask Charlie, with the guy like Stoltz who will pitch backwards on you, kind of a crafty left-hander, as we like to say, will he sit soft? In other words, sit off speed. And he said he will on certain pitches. He tries to just stay in between.
You know what you're saying, on certain counts. You'll look soft in certain counts for him. And when you do, that's kind of when you are. Because here's the thing, the fastball's not so overpowering as it once was when he was a younger pitcher. It's 88 to 91 miles an hour. You can react to it a little easier than you can 95.
And that's a great, George, that pitch right there is exactly what you were describing. Fastball showed up, he reacted.
At 90. It was a fastball at 90 miles an hour after a slow curveball off-speed pitch, and then he came back, and then he tried to work the fastball, but he tried to take it to the outside corner, see where the pitch is. You make mistakes, you get punished for it. Stoltz did that. He made a mistake on the inner half of the plate, even though the pitch down. It's still yanked to right field by Charlie.
So Drew Stubbs will come up with Blackmon and his 23 stolen bases at first. Drew with his 14th home run his first time up. Into the Rockies bullpen in right center field. He now has hit 7 home runs against lefties, 7 home runs against righties. His average against left-handed pitching has been outstanding. Hitting .339 coming in.
A little cutter in on the hands of Drew Stubbs, popped up to center field. I like the old-fashioned stirrups on Maven. That's looking pretty good. It's 1970s.
Let's go back to center field with Mark Stott. Mark.
Drew Frey, Stubbs just hit. Skylar Timmons says, what's the likelihood the Rockies re-sign Stubbs after the season? Your guys' thoughts?
Well, he's under control. He can't go anywhere. So, I mean, it's an arbitration situation. Right. He doesn't have 6 years, so he can't leave as a free agent. He's still a Rocky, so relax. He'll be here.
This field fits him pretty well, right?
Well, I think that, yeah, I think it fits him very well, and I think he's happy to be here. I think the other side of it, too, for Drew, you know, I haven't asked him this question, but I've been around the game 39 years, and for most guys that are high draft picks, the expectations, particularly from the hitting perspective, they get rushed to the big leagues, and the expectations are enormous. And once they hit 20 home runs, they think you're going to hit 40, and they think you're going to drive in 150. I mean, the expectations just keep getting piled on. And I'm glad they made the trade and sent Josh Outman there, who has since been traded again to Boston. But I think, you know, that I'm glad they were able to get Drew Stubbs over here in a uniform. It's been a very good asset.
A lot of things he can do.
I'm telling you.
Blackmon takes off. Throw to second by Rivera. Safe. Well, that was a good throw by Rivera also.
Well, on the season, Rivera has had 48 stolen bases, but he's thrown out 28 would-be base stealers. Let's take a look at the tag at second. You can see Amarista with the foot out front. He's going to pull it out of the way, but the tag up the body and the foot on top of the bag. And I think if he kept it on him right there, if he applied, young kid at home, listen to this and watch this. As Charlie slid over the bag, he becomes disconnected right there with the bag. If you keep the tag applied, Charlie's out.
And it's
I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah, and it's one of the things, George, that especially at the big league level, now that there's replay and challenges,
no question,
infielders are taught hold the tag on the body, because those types of deals pop up, those types of situations where a guy pops off just for an instant. We've seen a couple this year where calls were reversed. Here's Justin Morneau. I said earlier he's leading the league in hitting. He's actually dropped to second coming in. Ben Revere hitting .314. Justin, who's been leading at .312, is second. Ben Revere with the Phils.
If you're looking for a great ticket deal, check out the Blake Street Steal, available select games throughout September for only $20.14. Visit Rockies.com/specials to get yours today.
And there was another interesting thing today in that Josh Harrison, George, went 3 for 4 for the Pirates, and he came into the ball game tonight against the Cubs hitting .310. However, that won't be posted tomorrow because the Cubs game at Wrigley with the Pirates suspended at 3-all.
So it will be posted if they play tomorrow, right? Are they
well,
playing?
I don't know when they're making it up. Obviously, the Rockies suspended game with the Giants took them 3.5 months to make up.
But if they do that, it'll be mid-January.
It's going to be really chilly at Wrigley.
I don't know about your calculations, Drew, but mid-January there's not games going on. I'm looking forward tomorrow. That game's probably going to be played, and then tomorrow afternoon the second game to be played, only because of the time of the year we're in. It is September.
2-2. This ball line toward left center field, and getting there and making the catch is Almonte.
And again, this is where you're, you know, honestly, Drew, this is when expanded rosters pay off and help you.
Nolan Arenado with 2 outs and a man in scoring position. A reminder that when the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies tacos, special Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Nolan reached on a throwing error by Amarista, the shortstop, in the first inning. Chance to drive in his 57th run. That's right in the press box, writer's row. I've never seen more guys scramble faster.
Or to get excited more that they might catch a baseball. Oh, it went right at tail. No wonder it didn't get caught.
Oh, that's not right. Another one. You know what? That went in our booth. Did that go in our
came
booth?
back out again. That's 2 tonight since we moved. It's been close. Sam, are you ever going to make a play?
Sam, was that coming at us?
Sam, make a play, please.
Let's see where that one ended up.
Sam wasn't even close. Remember when? Don't you remember we used to work on him with that? We'd flip him balls and have him dive for him in the box up there.
He's a 50-50 catcher.
Yeah.
Nolan has a solid month of September. He could finish above 300. One, two. Good take there. It's an inviting slider. 2-2. Three and two.
Try to get after a fastball at 90 and want to put it away with movement. Try to get Nolan to flip it into right field for an out. Didn't get the result he wanted. Nolan still an opportunity with Corey Dickerson on deck.
And Arenado swings through a high fastball. Rockies lead Charlie Blackmon at second. They're up 1-0 going to the fourth.
Friday, just use the hashtag Toyota Talk at @RootSports_RM. We'll get a few tweets on. Some TV guy wants to know about DLR. That's Jorge De La Rosa being signed, and who else is going to make up the Rocks rotation? Let me show you Jorge De La Rosa inking that contract. This is what the Rockies tweeted out. 2-year extension, $25 million. Guys, your thoughts on who joins Jorge next year and how things maybe pan out? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but we like to think ahead.
Well, for one, the guy who's throwing the baseball right here is going to be in that rotation. Everything he's done, he has said that he has a chance to be a middle of the rotation or better pitcher going forward, George. I think the Rockies are excited about that.
They are, and I will say this. I mean, Tyler Chatwood's not anywhere near, but he is doing everything to get ready as soon as possible. Jhoulys Chacin played catch out to 120 feet today. That's another one that you're questioning there. Tyler Anderson is throwing the ball extremely well, so he's another one. I think Eddie Butler, John Gray, all those young guys you've heard about are going to get chances.
Great play by DJ LeMahieu.
That was a really good play. I mean, a really, really good play for where that ball was hit. Jordan Lyles, who this year went 6-2, you got to count on him. And I mean, he missed a couple of months because of the broken hand, but he's adapted very well to this ballpark and has pitched very well here. 4-1 on the year here. Nice play, DJ. Snap throw over. Yeah, you're out. I thought it was going to be a little. I really, from the naked eye, it looked much closer than that, but it wasn't.
There's going to be an opportunity for some young pitchers, some guys who've taken advantage this year, the Christian Bergmans of the world.
And not only that, the bullpen too. I mean, there's going to be some openings there. There's going to give some opportunities to guys. It's who wants to take it and run with it. I mean, it's a great time to be in this organization right now if you're throwing a baseball. 10-12 first pitch strikes for Tyler Matzek.
Yannervis Solarte grounds out to second. LeMahieu's been busy. 2 outs. That'll bring up Rene Rivera.
5 ground ball outs by LeMahieu so far in the ball game.
We were talking to Bud Black today about Rene Rivera.
I'm begging. I'm in the press box. I'm stealing a lady's food up here in the press room. It looks so good. All of it does.
She was willing to give you her dessert, which is very kind of her.
It was.
Rene Rivera has really made an impression with Bud Black. He's a guy that's been in a couple different organizations, was an independent ball. He got to the big leagues quickly because of his defense. And now he's figured out the offensive end. He's kind of cut down on his swing, spraying the ball around the ballpark.
Oh,
and he's in a situation where next year it's going to be quite a battle between him and Yasmani Grandal for full-time playing.
It's a good thing to have. Catching is such a tough commodity to get a hold of, and it's a great problem for the Padres and A.J. Preller as they move forward on rebuilding their organization, or I should say their major league ball club.
Popped up, Mike hoping for a play. McHenry's got it, and he stayed upright. Nice play by McHenry. 1, 2, 3, 4th for Matzek. He's allowed only 1 base runner through 4. Rockies leading 1-0. Well done, Matt. Right now, 1-0 Rockies leading on a moon shot by Drew Stubbs. Our Steel T cool stat of the ball game. Home runs among left-handed hitters in the National League. Anthony Rizzo, Lucas Duda, and then Corey Dickerson, which is pretty amazing. As we always point out, Corey wasn't playing regularly in the first half. Steel T Heating and Air, cool stat, a $69 value because they don't charge you more than that for a trip charge for a repair. Steel T, the T stands for trust. Go to steelt.com. And Dickerson takes outside, ball one. Corey hit a ground ball to third his first time up. Dickerson, Mike McHenry, Josh Rutledge against Eric Stoltz.
Off-speed pitch moving away from Corey, and he just basically hit it. Looked like he hit it right off the top of the ground, and it went right to the third baseman, Solarte, and he able to make the play.
Heater over at 87. It's 1-1 on Dickerson. Rockies with the emphatic 9-2 win over the Giants. Won the season series against San Francisco for the first time since 2008. Stay fair, it will. And it's going to run to that left field corner. And Dickerson has yet another extra base hit. That's his 24th extra base hit since the All-Star break. Among the major league leaders in that category.
Fun guy to watch play the baseball game. Uses all fields. That's a slider down and away at 80 miles an hour. Corey just slices this thing. Boy, you just love the hand-eye coordination he brings to the game every night. Stuck down in the corner for just a minute, long enough to get to second base, not advance beyond.
Look at this, extra base hit since the All-Star break. Josh Harrison, then Corey Dickerson second now. He was in a tie with Stanton, Chris Carter, who's really come on with Houston, and his teammate Nolan Arenado. Mike McHenry had a base hit to left his first time up.
Oh.
Slow hook, and it's 1-1.
Well, that's something he has to do, and that is to pitch and bring in the curveball anywhere from 67 to 70, the fastball at 87 to 90. There's a wide variance of velocity from Stoltz.
Outfield straight up and deep for McHenry. Well located fastball. It's 1-2. Rockies scored almost 9 runs a game in that set against San Francisco.
And he's hit everywhere, and McHenry is fun to watch swing the bat with men on base. 367 average. Dickerson
They're going to try to get him at third, and they did.
Very athletic play by Amaris to the short tap, and Solarte to be able to move on that and recognize what play was going to be made. Do or die, too.
Yeah, I understand why Corey tried to cross over there. The rule of thumb is you don't cross over in front unless it's hit softly, and he thought that it was hit slow enough that he could get there.
Well, you also got to remember, you're as a base runner, there's nobody out right now. Your advancement, either way, you're going to score on a base hit. But I think also with the lead, the aggressive nature, the mentality that Corey brings to the game, you would accept him to try this, and it had to be a perfect throw and tag in order to get him.
Rutledge at the plate. Josh hit the ball to the warning track in deep right center his first time.
Josh's overall average at 261 when he came into this ball game. It's interesting. Left-handers, though, 322 on the season. Seems like both sides a little bit displeasure with Amari's strike zone.
One and two. Dave Roberts, bench coach for Bud Black.
what Dave wants to manage. Here's a hard hit ball. Look what I found.
And they're going to wrap it around the horn for a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. So we'll go to the 5th, and it remains 1-0 Colorado. Good. And the atmosphere is great here in the press club. We've made our annual visit here to do a broadcast. Top of the 5th inning, we go around the league. Couple notable changes coming. Kevin Towers has been removed as general manager of the Diamondbacks. He has been offered another position by Tony La Russa within the organization, and he is waiting to determine whether he's going to take that. And Ron Washington resigned as manager of the Texas Rangers. The Rangers have been hit like the Rockies very hard by injury this year. Now, this is not one of these deals where he's resigning and it really is he was fired. According to John Daniels, the general manager, they had planned on and wanted Ron Washington back for 2015. He's very popular in that clubhouse. They've had a tough year, but for personal reasons, Ron Washington said he was stepping down. And John Daniels, the general manager, added when he was asked that it is not drug related, and the reason that question was even posed is a few years ago he had a situation that became public where he had an issue with cocaine. Nolan Ryan, who was the president of the club at that time, when Washington offered his resignation, refused to take it. Right. And actually ended up ultimately signing him to an extension. They went to 2 World Series under Wash.
Right, and on the Kevin Towers situation, they've offered him another position, but he wants to wait to see who the general manager is going to be in charge before he accepts that. A strikeout to Jed Jerko out of Matzik, handling things well with 4 strikeouts on the night. He's given up 1 hit as he works here in the 5th inning. Only 47 pitches thrown, and only 10 of those have missed the strike zone. Impressive.
The only ball that was hit hard was the base hit by Reimer Liriano to right field. A clean single. That's all for the Padres. Tommy Medica hit a ground ball to 3rd. His first time up, and that's on the outer edge for a strike. It'll be strange. The schedule obviously hasn't come out for 2015 yet, but we were down in Texas, and Texas played up here. And one of the things about Ron Washington, this is hit fairly hard to second, and another play for DJ, 2 out. Ron Washington, always good to visit with, always very candid. You know, he played in your era, George, and players love to play for him, and he got a lot out of those guys. It'll be strange to see the Rangers without Ron Washington on their bench.
Oh, it will be, and we'll see where they go forward with this and how they go. Bogart took over as the manager, who has managed at the minor league level. He's been an instructor at the minor league level. So we'll just see how it all works out and how it pans out. I wish Ron the best with his personal situation. I hope everything turns out fine, and obviously he felt the importance of this to walk away from the game at this time.
Yeah, they did. When I say they, management and Washington did discuss just a leave of absence, and ultimately Washington felt it was best to step back. So 2 outs, Cameron Maybin at the plate. Maybin struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. Ball cuts inside a little bit from Tyler. Tyler had 91 innings, has 91 innings coming in the big leagues this year. And with what he did in Colorado Springs, he entered the ball game a little more than 157 innings on the season. And it's not of concern right now with the Rockies, even though he's still a fairly young pitcher, because he's strong, he's built the body up.
Well, he made a lot of starts at the minor league level too. I mean, it's not like this is his 3rd year out. He's only made 25 starts one time, like John Gray's experiencing shoulder fatigue for the very first time of what he's gone through. First walk of the ball game, second base runner against Tyler Matzek with 2 outs. But that's part of it. His arm strength is there, so it's not a concern to Walt Weiss, his coaching staff, Jim Ryder, Bo McLaughlin. Right now, with the success he's had lately, 2-1 in his last 3, I'm not sure you could pry the ball out of his hand and tell him he wasn't going to start.
Probably not. Reimer Liriano with the only hit. He's at the plate now. 2 outs, and Maybin, who could run at first. And that's strike 1. Liriano back on August the 13th hit his first career home run against Tyler. Or his only career home run.
.88-mile-an-hour changeup, then an 84-mile-an-hour slider on the hand. Set up very well right now for Liriano to elevate a fastball at 93, 95, get him to chase up and out of the zone. Or for me, the good hard back foot slider on the back foot of Liriano to try to get him to swing over the top of that pitch.
.02, and that's exactly where he went, George, as you thought he would. 96-mile-an-hour fastball upstairs, and he checked his swing.
A lot of guys want to react. It's an 0-2. It's a good time to do it because guys are 0-2. They're going to chase a little bit. They're going to have to react quicker.
I like doubling in that situation. I like doubling up.
If you have confidence, if he doesn't bite, then you come back to that hard slider. They're going inside with the slider, swinging a miss.
Yeah, good call, George. It's almost as if you pitched before.
Maybe.
Well, 1-0. The Rockies leading. Tyler Matzek has pitched a beautiful game so far.
1-0 Rocks, bottom 5 on a Fan Friday here at Coors Field. This is one of 4 to go this season. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk at @Sports_RM. We'll get some questions on the air. Kent with an interesting question. Rock's going to pick up Brett Anderson's option, bring him back next year. You know, he's got a high salary, I believe, guys, and he's got the injury history. Thoughts on Brett Anderson?
Well, I think, Mark, when you look at it, when on the mound, very good. When healthy, very good. He's had back surgery. There's a $12 million option. From what I'm told on a site where you could get all the contract information. So, you know, it becomes a decision for, you know, Bill Gavitt, Dick Mofford, and Dan O'Dowd of where they want to go forward with this thing. If they want to pick up the $12 million, or do you want to wait and see what happens in the offseason to the medical side of things? I think it's 2 weeks after the All-Star or the World Series, or a week, that those decisions all have to be made.
Well, a couple of things that you weigh. When he has pitched, he's pitched very well. The problem has been, as you illustrated, in the last 3 years, for various reasons, he's been able to make only 19 starts. He works quickly. He's not afraid to pitch here. He's pitched here in the brief amount of time he was on the field successfully. But again, that's a lot of money for a guy that unfortunately has a history of not being able to be on the field.
Any way you want to look at it, it's going to be a tough decision to make because of the medical side of things, but you're also flipping over, looking at the history side of it. When he is healthy, how good he can be. I think, too, a judge is to try to figure out, you know, okay, when is Tyler Anderson ready? Is John Gray ready? Is Eddie Butler ready to come? All those things factor in to those decisions you're trying to make on this.
And make no mistake, Tyler Anderson, when he's right, is really good. And, he fits the ballpark really well.
But he was really good last night. He went 7 innings, struck out 8. He only gave up 1 run.
I said Tyler Anderson. I'm sorry. I meant Brett Anderson.
Brett Anderson. Yes. I was giving you the. Never mind. I was giving you the.
And give me Tyler Anderson.
Tyler Anderson stats from last night's game. By the way, Tulsa has tied the first couple of ball games. They're 1-1 now. Chris O'Dowd led off the 9th or 10th inning last night in a 3-3 ball game, and then a couple of singles. Adames came up with a big base hit last night to drive in Chris O'Dowd for the winning run. They headed to Arkansas, where they're playing there against the Arkansas Travelers in Game 3.
Sack 3-4 for Matzek, pushing LeMahieu into scoring position, and the Rockies will have a couple opportunities to expand their lead with Charlie Blackmon coming up. Charlie's 1 for 2. He singled, stole second, and the third was left there. You hope for Brett Anderson's sake, final thought on that the bad luck he's had, he can finally put in his rear view mirror and go out and be the kind of pitcher he's capable of being and make 30+ starts a season.
By the way, Tulsa's leading in that Game 3, 3-0 in Arkansas. Carlos Hernandez, a Texas League veteran that's been around for a while. 5 innings, 2 hits, a couple of strikeouts in the ball game.
This ball up the middle, base hit. DJ should be able to score on it. He cuts the bag at third, and it's 2-0 Colorado. Charlie Blackmon has driven in his 67th run. He's second on the club, checking third on the club in RBIs. Morneau's got 70, Dickerson 68, and then your leadoff hitter was 67.
Yeah, pretty impressive, isn't it? On a high breaking ball that stayed up over the plate. Charlie able to get on top of this pitch and drive it right back up the middle. DJ, who'd been sacrificed over, good speed, makes the cut, sent on home to score the second run of the ball game.
Drew Stubbs at the plate, a home run in the first and a fly ball to center field. Fastball on the inside edge, strike 1. Another, he thought he had the jump. George Blackmon had the jump and then stopped. Evidently he wasn't comfortable with something.
Well, a lot of times Charlie want to make sure the leg went up and he's made 2 steps stop, and then he's going to dive back into the bag. Something he didn't see, something he saw, I should say, didn't like.
0-2 count on Stubbs. So 2 outs. As Drew goes down swinging. 3rd strikeout for Eric Stoltz. That'll bring up Justin Morneau 0 for 2. Ground ball to second and a fly ball to fairly deep left center field for Justin tonight.
Well, as Charlie at first base, he's driven in 64 runs in the #1 spot, leading off for the Colorado Rockies. 64. The next closest, Carpenter with the Cardinals at 53.
Something else. Two 2-0 on Morneau. Justin hitting .365 in his career against the Padres. That's the highest batting average against San Diego of players with at least 75 plate appearances against San Diego. Jason Hayward of the Braves next. Former Rocky and now former Padre Chris Nelson on that list.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ashfield, they're in a rain delay right now, but Ashfield has done some kind of job tonight. Prime hit a home run. They're winning 2-1. It's bottom of the 8th inning. They're playing at Savannah. They lead the series 1-0.
They won 8-3 in their first game of that series. David Dahl had a big ball game, including a home run in game 1 against Savannah.
Cincinnati, 6 innings, 5 hits, a run. He struck out 7.
Special arm. 3-0. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC.
Kind of the tough luck draw is they thought that Grand Junction would get in, and they lost. Charlie's off and running to throw again. Not in time again. With a left-hander on the mound, Charlie has been able to steal 2 bases in this game for 25 on the season now. He's read something on Stoltz to get very good jumps.
It's an unusual count to run on, but it has a high success rate when you run 3-0.
Well, you do have that running on that count and the pitch was called a strike. Emarista, interesting this time. Remember, we showed you how Charlie bounced off the back. This time he kept the tag on him. Charlie didn't bounce off. He'll walk Justin Morneau, who's driven in 70 and hitting .312. Here comes the slide on the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Bowl into second base. There's the tag. He kept it, keeps tagging. Charlie stays on the bag. Another chance for Nolan Arenado, who struck out on a high fastball in the 3rd inning with Charlie Blackmon at second base after he stole his 23rd bag, and it'll give Nolan another shot. I like the chances for Nolan's success in this at bat.
Nolan in the second half hitting .407 at Coors Field. Rockies have out-hit the Padres 6-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Now Blackmon takes off for 3rd, and he's out. And that's not a good play. That's
right.
Not a good play. He's already in scoring position. There's no point in taking off there. Walt's going to come out to see if video shows he was under the tag. Going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think he was, because he didn't tag did he tag the lead leg? I don't think he did. I think he tagged the back leg. Look at it again. Ooh, man, I think he's safe.
I think his spikes are on that bag.
I do too. We're going to find out. Dan Asagna's at the third base umpire. Turn around a little while. See, I think he might be blocked a little bit on seeing that lead leg in.
Let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't know if Walt's going to contest. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's contesting it.
They're taking a look at it, and again, the whole deal is in New York they have to see enough to overturn the call.
Yeah, and I think there's about 30,000 here that just saw enough to overturn it in their vote.
Now, hopefully they get this thing flipped and Charlie's safe. As we read The Manager's Challenge, brought to you by Subaru's EyeSight Driver Assist Technology, a vigilant safety feature that gives peace of mind to every drive. But the point is, you can't swipe that bag.
Well, it's difficult. I mean, you got to make sure you're going to get it, that you've got an extraordinary long lead because you're in scoring position, just what you talked about. And obviously, Charlie felt like he could get it. I think they're going to say safe. I think it's going to be first and third and safe. If not, it should be. Are you listening in New York? I'm telling you what you're doing.
CB Buckner has the headset on as well with Dan Isanya. Now, is there? Man, it's close.
Well, see, here's why it takes a little bit longer, because if all the umpires are over in the food room eating and stuff, and they go, hey, we got a replay in Colorado, get out of here, you guys got to go watch this. I'm just teasing, folks. They are there watching.
See, from there, it's hard to tell when the glove first makes contact. I'm inclined to say he got the foot in.
Don't know right now. That's what's going to happen.
Out.
Got him.
So that ends the inning. Blackman thrown out, trying to steal third. Rockies got a run. They're up 2-0.
They're up 2-0, but he gets thrown out at third trying to swipe a bag. It's Fan Friday, hashtag Toyota Talk, at @Root_Sports_RM. There's a question. Why doesn't Dougie, the stat guy, wear a tie? Is it casual Friday?
Because he doesn't own one. He doesn't own one. How's he going to wear one if he doesn't have one? Come on. You kidding me? Doug, you got a tie? Seriously. You have a Jerry Garcia tie? Did you get married in that tie? Lindsay, by the way, Doug, for all the things I've ever said about you personally, Lindsay's banana bread today was off the charts. Lindsay, thank you. You can do that anytime you want
bread
to.
Today? What am I, chopped liver?
Yes, you are.
I didn't come to the booth because we weren't going to be in the booth tonight.
Well, you got to come to the booth. We actually, it was delicious, and I want to say how good it was. It was hot when it was brought to me in the booth. Hot. And it was very good. I was really excited.
Doug, more importantly, is Lindsay allowing you to hold the baby yet?
Yes.
No, one more week? That's about right. That's what we coached her up and told her.
See, that's not what you told me, Doug. You told me the baby is tired of watching baseball highlights at 1 o'clock in the morning with you. Yeah, it's all true. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna give you some ties. Hey, listen, got to wear a tie to New York. So, yeah, tomorrow, Sunday night. Oh, you're going Monday morning?
All because
just
of the
to get
tie.
out of wearing a tie.
Yeah.
Wow. what some will do.
Boy,
Bunt
nice
attempt,
play.
and Nolan can't pick it up. I think Nolan communicated he had it, and that's why Matzik backed off, and Almonte reaches on a bunt single with 1 out in the 6th inning.
Well, any infielder would tell you when you have the bare hand play, and because of the speed of Almonte, you're not going to be able to switch over to the glove to hand. And so then Nolan tried to get it, but you're also trying to get in a position with your body to throw the ball. And at the last second, it looked like that ball spun on Nolan and caught basically on the index joint there versus being able to stay in the middle of the hand only because of the spin on the baseball. (17 of 19 first pitch strikes. That's why you only see 63 on the board here as you work into the top of the 6th inning and 1 out. Make it 64 with a double play here. Been lucky tonight. Maybe I can flip one of those out of here.
Amarista takes a strike. It's 0-1. Alexi 0 for 2. Hitting .309 his last 20 ball games. Had a walk-off hit on Saturday night against the Dodgers. Second career walk-off hit. He's in a ditch now, 0-2. Padres hit 171 in the month of June, which was historically bad, as in no team in the live ball era ever had a month like that. Now, they've really picked it up since then. This ball is a bounce foul.
Well,
in July they hit 249. In August they hit 249. September they're at 223 thus far.
And why are they only 7 games over 500? Obviously it hadn't been the hitting, but it's been their bullpen, their pitching, everything. They're 7 games under 500, excuse me, and haven't gotten buried in the West is because they pitch. They pitch extremely well, and they've got a very good bullpen.
And Frage, to your point, in the first half they had a 3.16 ERA,
as a
third
team
in the baseball, and in the second half they have a 3.16 ERA. That's it. Good feed on the first, not in time.
Yep, too much speed.
I liked how he took just enough time. How many times we see pitchers fire the ball into center field?
Well, the thing is, left-handers, for whatever reason, when it's hit third base side, obviously it's easier for them to throw. They don't have to turn like a right-hander. But what he did was he took a little bit of a, not so much a crow hop, he got really balanced and then stepped as if he was making a pitch to throw to home plate. Threw a perfect strike with it. See, I mean, that is a great extension, right on the money to Rutledge, and then Rutledge with the exchange. Remember though, Amarista, very, very good speed from the left side.
2 outs. Yanner V. Solarte at the plate, and he hits it foul past Glenn Hoffman.
348 average versus left-handers so far, 262 on the year. Join the Rockies this Sunday for the 2nd annual Yoga Day at the Coors Field. Buy the Yoga Day ticket package, receive a Rockies yoga mat, plus you get to participate in a special post-game yoga session on the field. Drew was going to participate, but he's on the charter to New York. He won't be able to participate in the Yoga Day. He's been very upset about that. Dougie, who doesn't have a tie and not on the charter, will be on the field performing the yoga thing.
We want people to come to that, George.
It's all right, Dougie can stretch.
This is softly hit to left. Dickerson will grab it, and that's all in the 6th inning. What a job by Tyler Matzik as he is shutting out the Padres so far. We got to get a tie for Dougie. 2-0.
That's the brain. For this ball game tonight, it all started off with Drew Stubbs and the big home run. He hit it out of the ballpark. Leadoff hitters, San Diego 0 for 6. The Rockies 4 for 5. How about that? Now the Rockies have had a couple of base runners thrown out at third base, but leading this ball game 2-0. The Rockies have out hit San Diego 6-2. Put the 7th inning stretch to good use. Get First Bank's free checking at efirstbank.com.
Nice job with that, Fred.
Thank you.
So here we go in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nolan Arenado will resume his at-bat. He was up when Charlie Blackmon tried to swipe third and was thrown out. Arenado, Dickerson, and McHenry in the 6th. That's down low. Nolan in the last month, from August 5th to tonight, September the 5th, hitting .340 with 6 home runs, and he's driven in 16. And this ball crushed high and deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Make that 7 home runs the last month. 16 on the season.
25 home runs that Stoltz has given up now. Nolan Arenado some redemption. He struck out with a runner in scoring position back in the 3rd inning, and here in the 6th inning to lead off, the Rockies hitters are now 5 of 6 leading off the inning, and this couldn't have been a bigger blow on a fastball, or excuse me, changeup at 78 miles an hour. Nolan sends it to left, knew it when it left off the bat and headed into the seats in left field.
Home run Wednesday, and now a home run on a Friday night. 16 home runs, 57 driven in. And Arenado closing in on that 300 batting average. Gold Glove defense every night. DJ along with Brandon Barnes in that conversation. Dickerson doubled to left his last time. I don't know too many hitters in baseball that take a more aggressive swing than Corey Dickerson.
Yeah, you know, I started thinking back on guys that swung like that. I mean, it was Tim Stoffer, the long man out of their bullpen, of guys that took big swings. You know, that Oscar Gamble took a big hard swing. I mean, I'm going way back.
Guys you played with, I mean, Reggie took a big old swing too.
Yeah, Reggie took a hard swing at it. Controlled aggressiveness, I think, is a good way to describe Corey's swing. You know what I'd like to do sometime on a Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo? Giving you a little thought out here. I'm giving the director, Jim Armitrout, some help here. I'd like to see him lock off on Corey's eyes sometimes at impact.
There you go. 2-2, and this ball on the ground is second. Jerko will flip it across, 1 out, and that'll bring up Mike McHenry.
Here, I'll show you. Let's take a look at this right now. If we tried to do it here, and he rose that bill way down over his head. So look at his eyes get bigger. That's what I like. Look at this. He followed that all the way in until contact. Right when he hit it. You notice how the eyes got bigger? That reminded me of a swing I saw of Kirby Puckett one time. His eyes almost looked closed as the pitch is coming. As it got there, they just got bigger, bigger, and bigger.
Curveball loops in for a strike on McHenry. On the ground up the middle, Amarista gets McHenry by a step. With 2 outs, Josh Rutledge will come up. Rockies after tonight have 5 more ball games with the Padres. Final week of the season, they'll be in San Diego and then finish up in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. The Ford Strike Zone is powered by Ford Cars. Big MPG, smart technology, and unsurpassed quality. See what happens when fun meets the road. Ford, go further. First pitch is down low, ball 1. Rutledge, a deep drive to right center field. The 5-4-3 double play. Rutledge was 6 for 10 in that series against the Giants, including a triple and 6 RBIs. 322 against lefties this year. Hasn't done much though against the Padres. This is shocking to me. He's 1 for 21 this year against San Diego. And now 1 for 22. In the inning, Nolan Arenado got Eric Stoltz. Hit one about 15 rows deep. 16 home runs on the season for Arenado. And the Rockies lead 3-0 behind Tyler Matzik as we go to the 7th. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Fusion. Power you want and good looks too. Ford, go further. By Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Rockies up 3-0 as the Padres will have Rene Rivera leading off in the 7th inning. First pitch on one hop to a moving Rutledge. Josh makes an accurate throw. Well done. 1 out. Let's go to center field again on this Friday night. Visit with Mark Stout. Hey, Mark.
Guys, Fan Friday continues. Hashtag Toyota Talk at Root Sports _RM. So Bob has a big shout out to Spilly. Ryan Spilborg's birthday today. I'm going to check Baseball Reference and see who he shares his birthday with. A couple of Hall of Famers. A couple of big names up top there. LaJoy and Mazeroski. I remember Candy Maldonado playing. Rod Barajas, Chris Young. And there's Spilly when you're looking at games played for guys born on this day, 619. So happy birthday, Ryan.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
Drew, I mean, I don't, because my birthday, I have worked on my birthday in October, in 07 and 09 during the.
We hope every year that we're working on your birthday.
Can't work on his birthday.
He's not working on his birthday.
What's up with that? Doug worked on his birthday.
I'm going to text him right now.
Drew worked on his birthday.
I think he might be in Vail.
Oh, okay, big shot.
Right.
So he just basically took off the whole week's what you're saying. Because there was no television Wednesday, off day Thursday. So he had on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He's taking 5-day vacation, Spilly. You're taking 5 days off in Vail.
For a birthday?
You better be watching this game, too.
I'll ask him what the deal is.
You're going to ask him what the deal is? Did he answer you yet?
No. Let me text him first.
Hey, I got an idea, Mike Fox. He's our producer. You know, he always throw out the Cracker Jacks every half inning. I mean, not every half inning, but in the 7th inning. You knew what I meant. I'm thinking with this second out, there's a bunch of kids up here in the front row Can I leave? Can I put my headset down and go give him Cracker Jacks to throw out? All right.
That's a great idea. It's like Santa Claus. Jerko retired. Tommy Medica with 2 outs. Just 75 pitches in. With 2 outs in the 7th inning is Tyler Matzik. Now, if I'm those kids, I'm not throwing them out. I'm just going to start eating them. Medica in a ditch 0-2. George, so what's the odds? Put your headset back on. What are the odds that they throw them out or just eat them?
Well, the guys that were most mad were these 2 guys on the end that ate, each one of them ate 5 platefuls of food. They go, what about us? I go, well, you got to be under 3 feet. Sorry, dude. So let's see how they all do.
The parents might not be happy either. That's another hour and a half.
Well, you know what I did? Here's the thing I explained to them, all right? And these 2 guys right here, yeah, they're having a good time. The thing I explained to the kids, I said, when you all sit down here tonight, your mom and dad said, don't throw anything out the window. So Uncle George here tell you, you could throw all these out the window in between innings. So we'll see how they do.
You told them when, though, right?
Yeah, in between innings, 3rd out, when you hear the music.
Bet you they throw them farther than we throw them.
I'm sure they will. But I told them, too, I said, wait till everybody turns around and looks at you before you start throwing.
You coached him up.
I coached him up.
Fly ball to Dickerson and
we'll
left.
Find out right now.
Quick and efficient innings all night long for Tyler Matzik. He's allowed just 2 hits. One was a bunt single. 3-0 Rockies. (7-2). Tyler Matzik has been simply splendid tonight. Okay, let's see how our young fans did in between innings.
They were
throwing out the Cracker Jacks.
Look at this. They were going, all right, throw it. Now, go. Let it go, honey. Let it fly. Atta baby. See, those people right below us never get any. So then I had to yell at the other end, and they kept looking at their mother going, can we really? It's like, yeah, the guy said throw them. Uncle George said dump them, and I'm going, throw them. He finally started throwing.
That worked out beautifully.
Never have understood why Doug hadn't asked me to babysit Elizabeth yet.
He's smart.
On
the ground through the left side, DJ LeMahieu with his 2nd hit.
Yeah, as great a job as Matzik's done, and Stoltz has done just about what Padres pitchers done of late. He's given up 3 and they haven't scored any runs.
They don't score for him.
Just 14 to 27 starts, 1 or none.
Yeah, well, last outing he got a loss against the Dodgers. He went 6 innings, gave up just 2 runs.
After every Rockies win, get 40% off your online order at Papa John's. Enter the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. And 10% of net sales will be donated to Children's Hospital, Colorado. That's what got a sac bunt down his last time up. Caught looking on a 3-2 pitch back in the second with 2 outs and Mike McHenry aboard. Another pretty sound bunt. Stoltz has one play. He flips it to Jerko. 1-4 on that sac bunt, and DJ's at second base. Here's our AT&T fan photo of the game. This is our man Mason, who got a baseball and got to go and watch BP from about 30 feet away, right behind home plate, which is a terrific experience. Good for you, Mason. That'll be all for starting pitcher Eric Stoltz. Bud Black's taking the baseball. You can tweet your photo to #COFanPhoto for an opportunity to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast, brought to you each night by AT&T. 3-0 Colorado. Time for our Cooney Lexus look back. In the first inning, Drew Stubbs went deep to right center field. In addition to his 200th career extra base hit, it was his 14th home run of the year. Nolan Arenado, and the score was 2-0, hit a solo home run to make it 3-0 in the sixth. For Nolan, his 16th home run of the year. But the big story's been Tyler Matzek. 7 innings and just 2 runs, not 2 home runs allowed, and 2 hits allowed, I should say. No runs, and he has been in command the whole way through. And he has a chance with a light pitch count to go even deeper. And right next to us, Jenny, Corey, and Huey getting ready for the post-game show, and we're next door inside the press club. And there's Lee. Lee's been working down here at the Rockies forever. She is wonderful. She makes my day. Every day we get to see Lee when we ride up the elevator. All right, Charlie Blackmon will face Frank Garces, a rookie out of the Dominican Republic, and he drops a curveball on Charlie. It's 0-1. 2 for 3 tonight for Blackmon, including an RBI single in the 5th, his 67th RBI.
Torres has been the only left-hander they've had down in their bullpen. So, I mean, this is an opportunity for him, making his 5th appearance on the year, 3 2/3 innings, 2 hits given up. Good arm. Left-hander with some finesse.
'24-year-old with a 1-1 count on Charlie.
And again, Bud Black's playing the odds here in the favor of his ball club. Torres the only left-hander he's had in the bullpen all year. Charlie's seen him. So is Stubbs, and he's got a right-hander going right behind the left-hander. So, see, if this lefty gets out Charlie, he didn't want Charlie to take a peek at Stoltz for a third time. He had a couple of hits off of him. The opposition had hit 300 against Stubbs, or excuse me, against Stoltz. Third time through the lineup.
Charlie hits his foul and out of play. Wynn got it, fortunately.
You really rely on catcher Rivera, who's been here a little bit. Nice catch, partner. But he's been here, been a part of this, knows what he's doing. To pick out what pitch you go to next. That guy's never going to calm down. Good for you.
LeMahieu at second with one out, and that's fouled back. What a conversation piece of baseball can be, huh, Frazier?
And pictures being taken.
And Blackman turns away from the curveball and plunks him.
Yeah, DJ was off with the pitch too. He'll have to go back to second base.
So 2 on for Drew Stubbs.
That'll make another trip out.
Yeah. Garces just to face a left-hander. It's not like there's a shortage of arms in either bullpen.
Well, 3 lefties,
September.
3 lefties and 27 righties in Bud Black's bullpen.
About.
Yeah, I'm just teasing, folks, but there is 10. There's a few.
$3-0 Rockies. They got a baseball, and they got a lot of pictures to take also. It's time for our CenturyLink link to what's next. Rockies will conclude this series on Sunday against San Diego, and then immediately it's off to New York. They'll play 3 in Flushing Meadows against the Mets. An off day in St. Louis, and then they'll take on the Cardinals of Matt Holliday. They've caught fire. They're leading the National League Central. And then it's home to see the Dodgers, and 4 against the Diamondbacks. Nick Vincent making his 52nd appearance with 1 out and 2 on.
Vincent, this year, you think about this, folks, 21 consecutive scoreless outings covering 19 2/3. That broke the longest scoreless active streak, which Benoit had for a while at 19. So he's on here with 1 out. Runners on first and second. A guy that typically spins a lot of double play balls.
This guy at the plate, it's very difficult to double up. Drew Stubbs. LeMahieu at second. He singled. Charlie Blackmon was just hit by a pitch. You mentioned Benoit. He's got a little shoulder fatigue. All the x-rays and MRIs have turned out okay, but they're going to stay away from him for about a week to 10 days. So when they're up, Quackenbush is doing the closing right now for the Padres.
He's done a very nice job with it, too. Another one of those power arms coming out of the bullpen throwing strikes.
Caught the knees, and it's 0-2. Drew, 29 years of age. 8th pick in the first round of the '06 draft by the Cincinnati Reds.
Rockies so far in this game, 1 for 4. The San Diego Padres 0 for 0. They hadn't got a guy to second base yet. That's how good Tyler Matzek's been.
League average for batted balls in play this year is 298. Drew has an average of 402 when he puts the ball in play. And he's going to hit typically above the league average because of his speed. He's going to get some infield hits. 402 is exceedingly good. His highest previous batted ball in play average was 343 and 11 with the Reds.
Join the Rockies Thursday, September 11th to celebrate random acts of kindness in our community with unique event dinner on the Coors Field infield. And for the first time ever, this exclusive opportunity is open to the public. Visit Rockies.com/kindness dinner for more information. Bat by Drew Stubbs, keeping things alive after some nasty pitches.
Drew's career high in batting average 267 in '09 with the Reds. Last year with the Indians 233. He's at 292 entering the ball game. 1 for 3, a home run back in the first. Boy, the left fielder Almonte is really shallow. May have been shaded toward right center field. It's the defensive alignment. It's a good job of getting that slider.
Fans starting to recognize what kind of a bat he's putting together.
8 pitches in, he's still up there. 2-2 count. Drew has struck out throughout his career at a fairly high rate. And this year has been no different. He's at 31% of his at-bats. But again, the batting average higher than it's ever been. His ball's fouled off. Next pitch will be the 10th pitch of the at bat. Drew hitting .362 at Coors Field this year. Called strike 3 on the 10th pitch of the at bat, and that's the second out of the inning.
Even though they got multiple left-handers down in the bullpen, he's still going to stick with Vincent, a veteran going in this situation with his club down 3-0. This right-hander able to throw the ball over the plate, battled a very tough Drew Stubbs through 10 pitches, ends up with the strikeout. Justin on the season, 14 home runs, 70 RBIs. He's 0 for 2 with a walk in the 5th.
Two on, two outs. 0-1 on Justin. That's in a really almost an unhittable spot. I mean, if you're going to put that in play, it's probably going to be an out. You're going to either roll over.
No, that's why you don't take a swing at it
weakly somewhere.
You let it go because you're not going to be able to do anything with it. That's a hard sinker outside corner, well received by Rivera behind the plate. Same type of pitch fought off into left field.
Bottom of the 7th inning, Rockies leading 3-0.
And I'd probably stay away because of Morneau's ability to swing at the ball down. And in the inner half of the plate, they do. They stay away. They get the ground ball. And the final out here in the 7th.
Another scoreless appearance for Nick Vincent. Rockies up 3-0 off to the 8th.
with a 3-0 lead over San Diego on a Fan Friday. I have a Fan Friday first to share with everyone. This is Christopher's tweet. Can you explain the purpose of the white line parallel to the foul line on first base? Thanks. We will do that. Why this is a first is because there's Christopher right in front of me. This tweet came from there through Twitter right up here. And so I'm waving to Christopher, and you guys are going to answer the question. Why didn't he just yell it up to you? That's a good question, too. Because you can, yeah, it's social media. It's Fan Friday. You get, they got on TV.
You're big on that social media thing, aren't you, Mark?
Big on what, Frazier?
Social media.
I
mean, you're on it a lot, aren't you?
No, I can.
No, honestly, tell the honest truth. Honest truth, you're on there a lot.
He is on Friday.
I can.
For Fan Friday.
It varies.
I mean, Drew's on it a lot.
Oh yeah. 2-1 on Cameron Maben. That is that's the 45-foot. Runner's lane, and if you have to be at least partially in that, because if you're not and the ball hits you, they can award the out to the team in the field. Charlie made the catch. What a great play. And he preserved his body with the slide. Well done, Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah, they do appreciate it down the right field line as the claps continue over here. What's going to happen, Charlie, when he slides, though, watch when he hits that wall. That's going to push, spin around. That other leg went up underneath of it. Charlie able to spin around and be able to keep this ball in his glove. Man, what concentration by Charlie Blackmon to keep this ball, knowing that he's sliding, still concentrating on the fly to the baseball, and then that knee jamming up against that padding. Ow, that hurt.
1 out, Reimer Liriano. That's 85 pitches now for Matzik. He has only been in the 8th inning one other time. He faced 3 batters on June the 11th against the Braves. Didn't get anybody out and departed. So that's the first time he's ever recorded an out in the 8th inning. So anyhow, that's why that extra line is there, so the umpires know where the runner's lane is, and the line starts halfway to first, 45 feet in front of the bag. Mark, any other questions on this Fan Friday?
That's about it. I was talking to Chris. He's actually a map maker, so that kind of goes right in with what he does.
He's a what?
A map maker.
Really?
He makes maps. Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. He took off though. So
you can have him make a map of your house.
I'd take like a map of the ballpark and maybe put it up on the wall or something kind of cool like that.
Yeah.
So, you know what a map maker is really neat called? Do you know what that profession's called?
Cartographer.
Yeah, close. He's a cartologist. Oh, look what the glove got. Glove steals a hit from Liriano. That's how it's going for Tyler Matzik tonight. There haven't been many balls hit hard. And about the second one that's hit hard, he gloved. Liriano still looking back.
Yeah, and you really want to rub it, but you can't because you made a great play on it. And just a reaction only. This ball hit right back at him. He got a little bit of the webbing on it. Still felt it, I guarantee you. Ball's hit extremely hard. Matzik able to handle it right here. You know what? I like it. Good job, Tyler. Well, if you finish squared up a lot like Maddox did on his way to 16 gold gloves, you're able to make a lot of those plays, and that's exactly what Tyler did. He finished squared up to the plate. Didn't fall off first, third base side. Finished directly towards the plate. He was able to handle it.
Adam Moore takes a strike. He's the pinch hitter for Vincent. 2 outs, nobody on in the 8th inning. Big thanks to Mark Stott as always. Here's the 0-1 from Matzik, who has pounded the strike zone. It's 0-2.
Well, think about this, folks. He's working into the 8th inning right now. And the number of pitches thrown, we've been talking about that. They're looking for a little 2-strike noise here right now with the ballpark. But you mentioned pounding the zone. '23 of 27. Brothers Ottavino have warmed up. I'm not sure why. 3-0 lead, 2 hits given up.
Swung on and missed at 95.
That answered it. Walt's thinking about it. That answered answered it at 95 in the 8th inning.
Well, hopefully he'll have a chance to throw a complete game shutout. We haven't seen one of those in quite a while. Rockies 3, Padres nothing. Awfully good tonight. He's thrown a 2-hit shutout through 8 innings. Josh Rutledge getting ready to go. And it's time to go, about 50 feet away from the press club to the press box. Look at this trio.
Yeah, you guys are just lounging over there, so we thought we'd hang out in the press box and do the post-game show. No, we'll be out in center field for the Toyota post-game show. Lots of pitching to talk about. Pretty awesome performance so far from Tyler Matzek.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. He's been on quite a roll. We'll tell you more about it in the postgame.
We will. A lot of offense as well. And, Jeff, what did you eat tonight here in the press box?
I had the taco bar.
Oh, the taco bar? What did you guys eat? I'm just hang on, George. What did you eat? I need to know. Was it crab legs? Was it...
I ate the taco bar with Jeff.
Oh, you had the taco bar with
Jeff.
Jeff. What'd you eat,
loyalty
Drew?
on that side.
Drew, what'd you eat?
I had lobster.
Lobster, yeah. The cheesecake deluxe.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you after
we
baseball.
sent some over. You didn't get it?
Oh, right.
Well, Jenny, you were a little bit under the weather. We didn't want to upset your tummy again.
Okay. All right. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Jenny, by the way, what you have going this weekend?
You guys are unreal. I got some baseball to watch. I have a Toyota postgame show to do. We'll see you later.
Okay. Liar. 3-0. The Rockies leading. Nolan Arenado leading it off against R.J. Alvarez, who made his big league debut Wednesday. Worked 2/3 of an inning, allowed a run. Came up from Double-A San Antonio. Nolan, who homered in his last at-bat, fouls this pitch off. It's 1-1.
Big, strong right-hander's got kind of an odd angle coming out of his arm where it's in an arm slot. The ball's going to ricochet back. Nolan's going to give it away to the other side.
He was part of Frage, the Houston Street deal. He came from the Angels organization.
Big arm. I mean, he ran the last fastball up to 95 miles an hour. Still looking for some more of that maturity, poise, and growth that you look for out of some of your minor league guys. But he had a good year, and he's getting a chance here to come on and pitch in the 8th inning. Pretty nasty there at 86.
Yeah, and Nolan saw it the whole way. And he walked as Pete Rose used to, right out to the end of the strike zone to make sure of it. 2 balls and a strike on Nolan. 1 for 3. That home run in the 6th, his 16th of the year. This ball down the line, foul. Now LaTroy Hawkins is warming up in the bullpen. Tyler, nobody's shaking hands with him. And that's the normal protocol when you're coming out of the ball game. So looks like he may have a chance to continue. Auto glass damage. Trust Safelite online at safelite.com, on the phone at 303-287-5000. This ball's well hit to right. Going back is Liriano, and he'll make the catch. With one out, Corey Dickerson will take his turn. Corey a double back in the fourth, 1 for 3. Well, Matzik, we told you coming in, had thrown 2 outstanding ball games. 7 shutout in his last game against Arizona, allowing 3 hits. So over his last 2 games, he's not given up a run in 15 innings and allowed 5 hits.
Pretty impressive job of what he's done to settle in on this side of things coming into the ball game. A record of 4-9. Probably looking at 4 more starts on the season beyond this one. There's been a lot of positives here. Charlie, Corey, Tyler Matzik, Justin Morneau after all the injuries that come back.
Well,
Gordon Lyles. I mean, there's been a lot of positives.
The first order of business for the front office in the offseason is to rebuild that rotation, and they started with it in the last 24 hours, re-signing Jorge De La Rosa, which is a terrific move. And Tyler Matzek's going to be a big part of that rotation. That's, you know, the way he is finishing this season and all that he's demonstrated this year in his first 15 starts. It's great to see one of your own elevate to this level and then start to have some success here.
Well, Christian Bergman, you know, not the same level of success as Tyler Matzik, not the same number of starts, but when you start to not feel like you got to trade to get a rotation guy, and it's people coming up that you've drafted and getting a chance, it's all good. And Tyler's leading the way with all of that.
Look out.
Well, he's not afraid to come inside. That was at 94.
1-2 on Corey. Padres have the top of their order due up in the 9th inning. Rockies with 8 hits. Just 2 for San Diego.
Asking for the breaking ball down. He got it. Didn't swing at it.
Did you know that money generated from hunting and fishing in our state creates jobs and protects wildlife? So when you see a hunter or angler, give them a hug. Learn more at hugahunter.com. Rockies came into the ball game 6-8 against San Diego this year in the season series, but they've won 4 of 6 at Coors Field. And this is line to left, but it is right at Almonte. 2 outs. That'll bring up Mike McHenry. Well, we've had a great time here in the press
I've really
club.
enjoyed this. First time I've actually been over here, folks. I want to admit that, and I have been over here. And I came over and I had the dessert off the charts. Drew had lobster and he had the surf and turf. Is that what it's called? Lobster and steak. And he had all the baked potato with trimmings and everything. I just got dessert, but it was really good. How was yours?
Mine was outstanding. We get to, you know, come in here once a year and do a broadcast, and you can come here anytime you'd like.
You can
buy a ticket to the press club.
Well, by the way, if you buy a ticket to the ball game, all the food's free. It's all included within the ticket, I should say, plus parking up front here at the ballpark. So I mean, it's a good deal to bring your family, come in and watch a ball game.
It's done on an annual
friends.
basis. I don't want to mislead people. I think it's done on an annual basis. Is that right?
What's that?
Up here?
Yes, I believe
be a
so.
part of the press
or
club.
you can buy you can buy some game tickets available because it's sold out rather quickly. But you can buy some game day tickets here and come into the ballpark, and it is a great way to sit and watch the ball game and have a wonderful meal.
And we have a whole lot of new friends. And
I got a whole lot of new friends.
And there's some little girls over there that have sore arms from throwing Cracker Jacks.
And I think some of them ate them too, though. You were right. They ate them.
Yeah, that was going to happen. That's good, though. 1-1 on Mike McHenry. 1-2 on Mike.
And the first 15,000 Sundays is going to receive a Baby Bull bobblehead gnome, courtesy 850 KOA and Napa Auto Parts. Arrive early. Gates will open 2 hours prior to the game. Baby Bull's feeling pretty good. Caught a bullpen today. Swung the bat a little bit. Starting to feel better.
Get their wrist healthy. Michael Kadire been swinging, taking ground balls, fly balls. He's getting close to his date to come off the DL. September 9th is Dave Michaels eligible to come off. On 2 hops to Amarista, that ends the inning. So Alvarez works a 1-2-3 ninth. And we will go to the top of the ninth. Tyler Matzik putting on the hat, grabbing the glove. He'll have a complete game shutout opportunity. Tyler Matzik, a whole lot of zeros up, and he's out there in the ninth inning working on a 2-hit shutout. The last Rockies complete game period was last year with Tyler Chatwood in Los Angeles on July the 13th through a complete game of 8 innings. It was in a loss, 1-0. He didn't throw in the ninth inning. It goes in the books as a complete game, a 1-0 loss. The last complete game shutout was June 1st, 2011 at Dodger Stadium when Ubaldo Jimenez threw a complete game shutout against LA. The last complete game shutout at Coors Field by a Rocky, April 15th of 2011 when Jolie Chacin shut out the Cubs.
Yeah, before you get there, let's see what happens with his first batter. Behind right now, 2-0. He's been 23 of 28 first pitch strikes, 11 ground ball outs, 6 strikeouts, 7 fly ball outs. And this is all part of the growing process. You're sitting in the dugout. You're recognizing the fact that, hey, I've got 8 innings of shutout baseball. I may throw a complete game shutout. And you know, it's kind of like when you first come up, first start, I'm very nervous. First win, trying to get through the 5th. Then he gets 6th, 7th, which he's done all of those things. And here he is trying to finish things off in the 9th. And McHenry did the right thing. He went out and said, hey, listen, come 8 innings here, it's no different. Let's just get strikes. Let's get ahead of hitters, get the ball on the ground. If we get a strikeout situation, we'll go for it. But let's just get some outs here. Come to me like you have all night long, young man.
Almonte lines it to left. Dickerson misplays it, and it's going to be an extra base hit. He misread how hard that ball was hit. And it'll go as a double for Almonte. And I think Corey after the game will tell you he should have caught this baseball.
Well, instead of going straight across, you angle back so you can get to the baseball. See, Corey goes straight across on this. You're right, just didn't read the velocity of the ball off of the bat. And that was part of it. He got a hold of it, not off the end of the bat, but squared it up pretty good. Corey took off, and tough play to make. I mean, the ball was hit hard. It's a double.
It's the first runner to second base tonight. There have been 2 hits and a walk. Clean single to right by Liriano in the 3rd. A bunt single by Almonte, who's now at second base, back in the 6th inning. Amarista takes strike 1. We had a nice graphic put together on 2-hit shutouts in Rockies history.
Still might get there.
Well,
may make those pitches because the Padres are 4 for 34 with runners in scoring position. Their last 34 opportunities, they've hit 117.
Yeah, the shutout still intact, but the fact that you can't throw a 2-hitter anymore.
No,
he's got 3 hits up there. The 5 guys to throw 2-hit shutouts or less in Rockies history: Josh Fogg, Jeff Francis, Jason Jennings, Jason Marquis, and of course Ubaldo Jimenez with his no-hitter. This is an easy play, and Morneau will get the act. Almonte to 3rd, and Yangervis Solarte coming up. Fans, follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Got one Wednesday late in the afternoon. The Rockies got 9 against the Giants. 1 out in the 9th. Solarte swings and misses. He's 0 for 3. We'd love to get a punch out here and not to allow that run to score. Loop to second. That'll work. 2 outs.
DJ's been busy all night, very appropriately making the 2nd out here in the 9th inning.
Crowd standing as they should. More than 25,000 have braved the brisk temperatures tonight, and they've been rewarded with a stupendous performance from 23-year-old Tyler Matzek, former #1 pick of the Rockies. Rene Rivera at the plate, 0 for 3. And a slider south of the knees, ball 1. Center field, and Stubbs. He's going back. He's got it. A 3-hit shutout by Tyler Matzek as he has defeated the Padres 3-0. He gets a bear hug from his catcher, Mike McHenry, who did an awesome job. And the Rockies win it. Tyler Matzek in his last 2 outings, 16 innings, no runs, just 6 hits. It's the 8th 3-hit shutout or fewer for a Rockies pitcher in their 22-year history. What a job for Tyler Matzek. Our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. The 9-inning performance of the 23-year-old Southern Californian Tyler Matzek. He walked just 1, he struck out 6, and he improves to 5-9 on the season. And he hands Eric Stoltz his 16th victory of the season. 16th loss of the season, I should say. So that's our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. Tyler Matzek was simply outstanding tonight. Last complete game shutout, Ubaldo Jimenez, early June of 2000.